Okay, Mr. Minnick here, helping my Comp Sci 101 students with If Statement Worksheet number 1. In the notes is the truth table. You should read it and understand it. But real quickly, I'm going to attempt to fill it in here as neatly as possible. Well, in life, sometimes you're given asparagus to eat, and sometimes you're given broccoli to eat as an option. So there are like two options to something. And you either don't do either thing, which would mean false, false, or you don't do this, but you do this, or you do this, but you don't eat this, or you do both of them because you're really nice. So these are the four possible combinations with two variables. For example, down here, A less than B would be like the A up above, and the expression C double equals 2, that would be like the B up above. And in this case, they are joined by an OR. So in these two columns, we have the AND and the OR. And I'm not even going to try to make an AND, but double ampersand, and an OR in C++ is two vertical pipes. Find it on the keyboard. So number 2 here, of course, that would be an OR. So what happens if you don't eat asparagus, false, and you don't eat bananas or broccoli, false? Well, you don't get any dessert, not at all. So this is false and false. This and I like to call it like the strict parent. The strict parent says you got to eat both to get your dessert. The easy parent, oh, you can eat one or the other, I don't care. It might be mom. That's the easy parent. So let's look at person number 2 here. She doesn't eat asparagus, but she does eat broccoli. False, true. Does the strict parent let her have dessert? No. Does easy parent? Yes. Because she ate something. And then this is the flip of that, so this would be a 0 also and a 1. And last of all, we have goody two shoes here who eats both things, lives a long life with lots of nutrients and vitamins. And even the strict parent does say true overall, and so does the easy parent. So this is just normal knowledge that you probably learned in somewhere in primary school. You just learned how things work. Now let's apply the truth table to these exercises. Number 2, assuming that A is equal to 1 and B equals 2 and C equals 3 for all of these exercises, we ask, is A less than B? Yes, 1 is less than 2. So we have a true over here, like a 1. Is C equal to 2? No, because it's 3. So that's like a false. That's like a 0. Where up here do we have a 1, 0 in that pattern? Well, right here in line number 3. And because this is an OR in between, we're looking at line number 3, and we're coming over here to the intersection with like OR Avenue, and right there, it's 1. 1 is the overall answer to this control expression. In other words, that whole thing simplified to a true. It's a 1, which is in computer science equal to a true. So when you have an if-else statement and the control expression is true, you do execute the first part of it. See out true is what prints out. You ignore the else. So we would, of course, reject or just ignore that code. Okay, I'll let you do number 3 yourself. That's just an and instead of an or. Number 4, there's nothing tricky there. There's really just one A. It's not like an A and B or something. It's just really just one part that's overall true or false. Oh, number 5. Let's do number 5. In number 5, okay, sorry I had to do that there in the video. Let's take a look at number 5. Now number 5 has like an A, a B, and a C. You've got this part here, B less than 1. Well, let's figure that out. B is currently 2, so 2 is not less than 1. So that's like a false. We'll call that 0. And right here, A greater than 0, that is currently true, so put a little 1 there. And B less than 0, that would be false, so that's a 0. Now what do you do when you have an OR chained together with an AND? I didn't really help you out with this truth table a minute ago. Here's the rule, and according to our lecture notes. When you have ands and ors mixed, you always do the stuff around the and first. It's the order of operations. It's the way it is. And is like multiplication. Or is like addition, and you always do multiplication before addition. So let's proceed. What do you get when you have a true ANDed with a false? Strict parent says you don't get dessert. So overall, this right-hand side kind of like is all false. In other words, all of this just simplified to a false. And now we're left with this 0, this false, being ORed with this overall false. And even easy parent doesn't let you have dessert in that situation. False or false, no soup for you or anything. So that's false. Overall, this whole thing just evaluated to false, and therefore we do the else, and false is the answer to exercise 5. I will point out that to help you remember that and is always done before ors, even if there are no extra parentheses, because I know I erased this, but just imagine with me. When you have 1 times 1, the answer is 1. And that is what was in this column. When you have 1 times 0, that is 0. So I know I said this was the AND column, but think of this as the multiplication column. Here we had a 0 and a 1, and multiply them and you get 0. And here we had 0 and 0, and multiply them and you get 0. So really, AND is like multiplying zeros and ones. Hey, look at the OR, which I just gave away the trick. An OR is like a plus. Follow with me. When you have a false or a false, it's like adding 0 plus 0. You get 0. When you have a 0 plus a 1, the easy parent says, yeah, you get your dessert. And same way, 1 plus 0, it's commutative. You still get your dessert. Now, when you do 1 plus 1, I know in normal decimal math you get 2, but a computer only knows binary. It only has zeros and ones. There is no 2 in a computer, truly. Ask a computer engineer. So 1 plus 1, even though it's like weird, it's a paradox, it's still just 1 to a computer. The light switch is not a dimmer. It's just on is on. And it's not like there's not a times 2. So you can kind of think of these evaluations here as multiplication and addition. And because of that, in my way of explaining it, you always do ands before ors. Because just like in math, you do multiplication before addition. Okay, good luck with the rest of the worksheet.